Hi students, this is the test read version of the final exam. This is for the multiple choice questions, and I will also possibly have another video for the extended response. So we'll see how we can do that. Okay, so at the beginning, first step, how much did you study? So let me know. If you didn't study, press 1. If you studied more than one day, 10, and then somewhere in between, right? And so a day would be like 7, right? Half a day, maybe 4, something like that, okay? So that's the first part. All right, so multiple choice questions. Base your knowledge of earth science to answer all questions in this examination. Before you begin this examination, you must be provided with the 2011 edition reference tables for physical setting earth science. You will need these reference tables to answer some of the questions. Okay. Number 1, which statement best explains the apparent sinking of the sailboat? So you have 9:15, 100 or 1:45 and 5:15 p.m. Different time domains seeing the sailboat sink. What is the best evidence for it? The sailboat is moving around a curved surface of Earth. The sailboat appears smaller as it moves further away. The change in density of the atmosphere is caused by refraction of light rays. The tide is causing an increase in depth of the ocean. Again, which statement best explains the apparent sinking of the sailboat? Okay, question 2. The Earth's actual shape is most correctly described as a circle, a perfect sphere, an oblate sphere, an eccentric ellipse. The Earth's actual shape is most correctly described as. Okay, question number 3. An observer in Watertown, New York would see the star Polaris at an altitude of approximately, so here's an observer in Watertown, would see the star Polaris at an altitude of approximately 75 degrees, 44 degrees, 45 degrees, or 76 degrees. All right. Number 4, the motion of a Foucault pendulum provides evidence that the Earth varies in distance from the Sun, spins on its axis, is tilted on its axis, or travels around the Sun. The motion of a Foucault pendulum provides evidence that Earth. Question number 5. The correct explanation of why ice floats is that, compared to liquid water, solid ice has less mass, has more mass, is less dense, or is more dense. Okay? The correct explanation of why ice floats is that, compared to liquid water, solid ice has less mass, has more mass, is less dense, is more dense. Question number 6. Which diagram represents the correct sequence of moon phases from position A to position D here? This is a picture of the moon's orbit. You can see the sun rays is coming from the left. We have 4 positions that are all labeled, and represented is the North Pole where we are on Earth. So, is it option 1? Is it option 2? Or is it option 3? What is the correct sequence of moon phases from A to D as the moon moves in its orbit around the Earth? Question number 7. All right. The diagram below represents a simple geocentric model. Which object is represented by the letter X? Here is a geocentric model. What is represented by letter X here? Is it the Earth, the Sun, the Moon, or Polaris? A simple geocentric model. All right, question number 8. Cosmic background radiation detected from all directions in space provides evidence for the greenhouse effect, Doppler effect, geocentric theory, or the Big Bang theory. Cosmic background radiation detected from all directions in space provides evidence for the Okay. Question number 9. The theory that the universe is expanding, is supported by the data from the red shift of light from distant galaxies, blue shift of light from distant galaxies, nuclear fusion of radioactive materials, or nuclear decay of radioactive materials. The theory that the universe is expanding is supported by the data from the question number 10. This feature in this photograph is best identified as, and the photograph below shows a feature of the universe as seen through a telescope. Is the feature a galaxy, a comet, an asteroid, or a star? Question number 11. Which sequence of stars is listed in order of increasing luminosity? Which sequence of stars is listed in order of increasing luminosity? Is it Spica, Rigel, Deneb, or Betelgeuse? Is it Polaris, Deneb, 40 Eridani b, Proxima Centauri? Is it Bernard Star, Alpha Centauri, Rigel, or Spica? Or is it Procyon b, the Sun, Sirius, or Betelgeuse? Which sequence of stars is listed in order of increasing luminosity? Question 12. Which color star indicates the hottest star's surface temperature? Question number 13. Which statement best describes the general relationship between the temperature and luminosity of a main sequence star? Oh, sorry. Which color star indicates the hottest star's surface temperature? Red, blue, yellow, or white? My apologies. Okay. Question 13. Which statement best describes the general relationship between the temperature and luminosity of a main sequence star? So, the relationship, is it as temperature decreases, luminosity increases? Is it as temperature decreases, luminosity remains the same? Is it as temperature increases, luminosity increases? Or is it as temperature increases, luminosity remains the same? What is the general relationship between temperature and luminosity of a main sequence star? All right. 14. Which form of electromagnetic energy has the longest wavelength? Is it ultraviolet rays, visible light, gamma rays, or radio waves? Which form of electromagnetic energy has the longest wavelength? Question number 15. Which list correctly identifies the energy transfer process A, B, and C? Arrows in the diagram below show 3 methods of energy transfer labeled A, B, and C. And you have a stove with water cooking over an open fire, okay? So is A conduction, B convection, or C radiation? Is that the sequence? Or is the sequence A convection, B conduction, C radiation? Or is the sequence A convection, B radiation, C conduction? Or is the sequence A conduction, B radiation, or C convection? What is the correct sequence labeled in the 3 energy transfers labeled A, B, and C? Okay, question 16. The surface temperature of which sample increased at the slowest rate? And you'll see in this diagram, each volume of the 4 samples shown below were placed outside and heated by energy from the sun's rays for 30 minutes. We have water, copper, pennies, basaltic sand, or iron fragments. The surface temperature of which sample increased at the slowest rate? Question 17. Specific heat is used to explain why different substances sink or float in water, change temperature at different rates, vaporize or condense at different temperatures, or melt and freeze at the same temperature. Specific heat is used to explain why different substances Okay, question number 18. Which list correctly matches each instrument with the weather variable it measures? So option 1, wind vane. So here's the options, okay? Which list correctly matches each instrument correctly with what weather variable it measures? So I'm going to read the options, and you have to pick which one matches correctly. So wind vane is wind direction, thermometer, dew point, psychrometer, air pressure. Or is it the other list? Barometer, air pressure, anemometer, wind speed, psychrometer, relative humidity. Or is option 3, wind vane, wind speed, thermometer, temperature, precipitation gauge, relative humidity. Which option correctly matches each instrument with the weather variable it measures? All right, question 19. The presence of which atmospheric condition will most likely result in clear skies in Binghamton, New York? Is it high humidity, high pressure center, increased wind speed, or dew point equal to air pressure? The presence of which atmospheric condition will most likely result in clear skies in Binghamton, New York? Okay, question 20. What is the relative humidity when the dry bulb temperature is 10 degrees Celsius and the wet bulb temperature is 14 degrees Celsius? Is it 14%, 54%, 90%, or 60%? What is the relative humidity when the dry bulb temperature is 10 degrees Celsius and the wet bulb temperature is 14 degrees Celsius? All right, question 21. Which map best represents the surface wind pattern around Northern Hemisphere high pressure and low pressure centers? Is it option 1, over high pressure is counter and over low is clock? Or is option 2, we get high pressure clock and low pressure clockwise? Or is option 3, high pressure clockwise, low pressure counterclockwise, and it goes into high to low? Which map best represents the surface wind pattern around Northern Hemisphere high pressure and low pressure centers? Okay, 22. Most clouds form in the atmosphere when moist air rises, expands, and cools to the dew point. Or is it rises, expands, and warms to the dew point? Or is it sinks, compresses, and cools to the dew point? Or sinks, compresses, and warms to the dew point? Most clouds form in the atmosphere when moist air. Okay, 23. The air mass originating over Mexico is classified as, here is the map of North America below, shows the source region of an air mass forming mostly over Mexico. Is the air mass continental polar, continental tropical, maritime polar, or maritime tropical? All right, question 24. Which factor is primarily responsible for location A having a lower average yearly temperature than location B? So the map below shows an eastern portion of North America. Points A and points B represent locations on the eastern shoreline. All right. Is the reason which factor is primarily responsible for location A having a lower average yearly temperature than location B? Is it nearness to a large body of water? Is it elevation? Is it latitude? Or is it prevailing winds? Okay, question number 25. Which statement best describes the porosity that was found in these samples? You have equal volumes of these samples, A, B, and C. Okay. Is it A has a greater porosity than B and C? B has a greater porosity than A and C? C has a greater porosity than A and B? Or all three samples have the same porosity? Which statement best describes the porosity that was found in these three samples? Okay, 26. Which statement best describes the physical weathering shown by the diagram? The diagram below shows granite bedrock with cracks. Water has seeped into the cracks and frozen. The arrows represent the direction of which the cracks have widened due to weathering. Is it enlargement of the cracks occur because water expands when it freezes? Is it this type of weathering occurs only in bedrock composed of granite? Or is it cracks become wider because of chemical reactions between the water and the rock? All right, question 27. Which rock weathers most rapidly when exposed to acid rain? Is it quartzite, granite, limestone, or basalt? Which rock weathers most rapidly when exposed to acid rain? All right, 28. Which particles will be transported by a stream moving at a velocity of 5 centimeters per second? Is it pebbles, sand, silt, and clay only? Sand, silt, and clay only? Silt and clay only? Or is it clay only? Which particles will be transported by a stream moving at a velocity of 5 centimeters per second? All right, question 29. Soil composed of what particle size usually has the greatest capillarity? Is it silt, fine sand, coarse sand, or pebbles? Soil composed of what particle size usually has the greatest capillarity? Question number 30. At which location is the greatest amount of sediment most likely being deposited? Is it location A, location B, location C, or location D? At which location is the greatest amount of sediment most likely being deposited? All right. Which set correctly identifies the landscape region shown in each block diagram? So we have the block diagrams below labeled A, B, and C show the relative elevation and rock structure of 3 different landscape regions. Is A a mountain, B a plateau, and C a plain? Or is A a mountain, B a plain, C a plateau? Or is it A a plateau, B a mountain, C a plain? Or is A a plateau, B a plain, and C a mountain? Which set correctly identifies the landscape region shown in each block diagram? Okay, question 32. Which cross section best represents the shape of the stream channel at line XY? Line XY. This block diagram below shows part of a meandering stream. Line XY show the location of a stream cross section. Okay. Is the correct cross section option 1? Is the correct stream section option 2, where it's deeper near X and shallow near Y? Is option 3, where it's shallow near X and deeper near Y? Or is it option 4, where it's just round? It's equal on both sides. Okay. Question 33. Which type of surface bedrock is most commonly found in the Utica, New York area? Which type of surface bedrock is most commonly found in the Utica, New York area? Is it sedimentary with limestone, shale, sandstone, and dolostone? Is it sedimentary with limestone, shale, sandstone, and conglomerate? Is it metamorphic with quartzite, dolostone, marble, and schist? Or is it metamorphic with gneiss, quartzite, marble, and slate? Which type of surface bedrock is most commonly found in Utica, New York area? Okay. Question number 34. The hardness and density of each gemstone is based primarily on the gemstone's internal arrangement of atoms, geologic time of formation, oxygen content, or natural abundance. The hardness and density of each gemstone is based primarily on the gemstones. Okay. 35. Which map symbol is used to represent rock that is formed as the result of the evaporation of seawater? Is it option 1, option 2, option 3, or option 4? Which map symbol is used to represent rock that is formed as a result of the evaporation of seawater? Okay, question number 36. Which term best describes this rock texture? The photograph below shows a magnified view of a portion of rock that can float if placed in water. Is it non-crystalline and vesicular, coarse and vesicular, elastic and fragmental, or foliated and banded? All right, question 37. What is the origin of fine-grained igneous rock? Lava that cooled slowly on Earth's surface, lava that cooled quickly on Earth's surface, silt that settled slowly in ocean water, or silt that settles quickly in ocean water? What is the origin of fine-grained igneous rock? Question 38. Which geologic process is occurring to cause this conversion? The diagram below indicates physical changes that accompany the conversion of shale to gneiss. So shale, we have clastic texture. To slate, now we have slaty cleavage. To shift, we have obvious foliation. And then to gneiss, we have banding. What process is occurring to cause this conversion? Is it sedimentary layering, the intrusion of magma, metamorphism, or is it weathering? All right, question 39. Which location is quartzite most likely found? The cross-section below represents the portion of Earth's crust. Letters A through D are locations within the rock units. Is it A, B, C, or D? Which location is quartzite most likely found? And the key is, this is an igneous intrusion, the symbol, and the hatch marks around the igneous intrusion are contact metamorphism. All right. And then last but not least, did you study enough? And yes, that was easy. All the questions were on Kahoot, literally just like Kahoot. Or no, I didn't get to study and didn't see that the test was just like the Kahoot. All right. There you have it.